Which free floor planner is the best for your real-life project, and how does it compare to professional design software? On stream, we've been testing a multitude of free planners to find this out. This time, we deep dive into Sweet Home 3D. Stay tuned. My name's Angorabuilds. I'm an architectural technologist based out of Western Canada, and I model buildings in 3D for a living. I also stream about home design on Twitch and YouTube. Lately, we've been testing out free floor planners on stream just to see how they compare to my design software, as well as to figure out which one might be the best if you wanted to do a real DIY or renovation project at home. Last time, we tested out floorplanner.com. If you want to see how that went, I'll post a link somewhere over here. This time, we're deep diving into Sweet Home 3D. So to give you a little bit of a refresher about how we're doing this, we are testing the floor planners using the same tiny house floor plan, just so that it's a fair comparison. This tiny house is small, so we can build it quick, and it is my own design, so I know it super well. It also has some unique space-saving design strategies that I thought would be really interesting to test out in the free planners, just to see which ones were actually capable of pulling them off. I'll explain it to you really quick, because we do have a 2-story tiny house that we designed on stream. We have our kitchen on the far right-hand side, kind of living room space in the center, and then the bathroom laundry on the left. This was designed using Autodesk Revit, which is the software that I use in my line of work. Here's the second story as well. I can pretty much do whatever I want with this software. The world is your oyster with Autodesk Revit. It's super, what's the word? Malleable? I don't know what word I want to use for this. But the other thing that is really cool about this tiny house design that I want to see if we can emulate in the design planners is we have a bit of a unique strategy to be able to stand up on the second story here. So we have it set up in such a way that you can stand up in the loft. And we have done this utilizing a kind of like a tiered second story almost, where the corridor or like the stand-up floor space is above components or areas of the main floor that don't require full head height. The cabinets in the kitchen, it goes over the countertop here, underneath the sofa in the living space, and underneath kind of the bathroom, toilet, and laundry on that side. So when you get up to the second story, you get full head height. I'm so curious to see if we can emulate this. We're assessing our planners against my software, Autodesk Revit, and we're doing it based off of 5 separate categories. 1, accessibility. 2, the learning curve. 3, customization. 4, accuracy. And 5, the design to construction drawing workflow. If you're curious about the logic and would like an elaboration on this, check out the floorplanner.com episode. I do a lot more of a thorough explanation there. For now, let's just jump into it. So what is Sweet Home 3D? Sweet Home 3D is a free and open source interior design software that helps users create 2D floor plans and visualize them in the 3D space. It's designed for ease of use, allowing users to design and furnish homes with a drag and drop interface. Users can place doors, walls, windows, furniture, and decorations while viewing them in real-time 3D previews. It was first developed by a French software company called eTex and released in 2006. However, despite its age, it remains actively maintained with updates bringing enhancements to usability, performance, and customization. Now, unlike floorplanner.com or some of the other planners that we have looked into, Sweet Home 3D doesn't seem to over-exaggerate its capabilities. It doesn't have any perceived marketing as a professional-grade software, which is exactly why I was so harsh on floorplanner.com. Sweet Home 3D seems more humble, self-aware. So this is definitely going to feed into how I assess this software. I'm going to be taking it a lot less seriously. Also, let me emphasize that I am using the free desktop version of Sweet Home 3D. I didn't download the full version, and I didn't download any additional libraries or anything. So there's a lot of features and objects and stuff that I don't have access to during this test. If you'd be interested in a more in-depth deep dive of like the full capabilities of Sweet Home 3D, let me know, because I would be really interested in trying it. So my first impression of Sweet Home 3D was how ancient it looked. It was giving like circa 2005 to 2010 JavaScript web page throwback. I was seriously kind of hesitant about how much I was going to like this planner for that reason. But it's actually come as one of the highest recommended free planners in most of the forums that I've checked after SketchUp or the professional options. So I was very curious. Immediately, I'm like kind of overwhelmed because I don't really know what's happening with this interface. There isn't really any text instructions or like text titles on icons either. You guys can't even see it. It describes what the tools do when I hover over it. Okay, so I think this is 2D versus 3D. Oh, here, settings. Unlike other planners, this one focuses primarily on your preferences at startup rather than project parameters like location or project number. This is just another indication to me that this is a more casual and entry-level planner for more generic use. Everything displayed is generally very straightforward. Okay, so units, centimeters,
centimeters. I'll do millimeters. Whoa, there's prices. That's kind of cool. Oh, you can even pick the wall pattern. This is actually really cool. I don't know if I want to use the default because this hatch pattern is usually what I use to depict casework or like cabinets. Maybe I'll make this in feet and inches because that's what the units on our Autodesk viewer is. Okay, so I think we're gonna have to do the perimeter walls first and then we'll do all the interior walls because those are thinner.
So if someone in the comments can tell me that I am messing up this wall tool somehow, I would genuinely love to know.
Oh, I can't even type. Hold on. I can't like type a measurement. I have to just manually, oh my goodness. And I can't go closer. It's doing 3D on the bottom here though. How do I pan? So now if I want to move this one, can I drag this? Oh, you can. Oh, but it doesn't snap in any way. Wait, what?
I was quite taken aback that there was no snapping or magnetic features of the walls. Placing them was very freeform, which could be fun for like a new house design or new construction, but it's really tricky if you're trying to do more renovation work because precision is so much more important there.
Create rooms. What? Do you have to manually draw the room? So nothing snaps? And I can't go closer than I am right now either. But what I don't really understand is if I have a measurement that I want this to be, oh, you can curve things. Oh, if I hold down shift, it locks it to at 90 degrees, which is good. See, this is so tricky because how do you make this the internal measurement that you want it to be then? Like, I think what I need to do maybe is use the rooms tool and we'll do like the interior measurements of the rooms.
I truly could not figure out how you were expected to place walls at a precise dimension. I was hoping they'd snap to room extents, or maybe you could place a dimension and then lock the walls to that, but it didn't seem to be the case. Everything seemed eyeballed, and that made my little detail-oriented heart quite sad.
I'm really nervous that none of this snaps together. Nothing locks. It's all just floating in the ether. Like, I don't really feel like enable magnetism. I don't really feel like I could confidently do a project with this without a snap feature. Yeah. Here. Oh, there is rooms showing up on the ground too. And I think that's it for walls. So now it is doors. I'm scared. Okay, what do we have here?
Okay, so from what I had access to in Sweet Home 3D, the doors and windows, the selection was sparse.
We're using pocket doors. I wonder if they have pocket doors. Sliding window. Oh, slider pocket door, we do.
From a space planning and schematic design perspective, they do get the job done. But placing doors and windows in our tiny house was the first indication to me that it would probably be a lot nicer to download the full version and have a more expansive library.
Can I even edit the width of this? There's a little dimension symbol. Oh, here we go. Price. Oh, so you have to enter it in manually yourself. Color, texture. Whoa, you can change the color of it?
Okay, so what the free version of Sweet Home 3D lacks in families and components, it makes up for in materials and finish customization.
Whoa, materials. Oh, this is kind of cool. Wait, hold on. Frame B, for example, if I want to make it like a wood.
Oh my God, let me fangirl about this for a second. The material customization in Sweet Home 3D goes deep. You can pick materials for so much. The selection was quite large in the free version, and if you still weren't satisfied with what you saw in the library, you could upload your own.
You can also change the scale. You can bring in your own textures. That's cool. Oh, you can even change how reflective it is.
Now, how the materials worked on objects was great. How the materials and finishes worked on walls and floors was awesome in theory, but kind of questionable and finicky in execution.
Whoa, hold on. Okay, so this is how we modify the room. So we'll call this living room. The floor. Oh, here is how you pick the floor. This is actually much better, in my opinion, to place floor finishes and wall finishes. I don't love these options, but again, you could import your own. Choose image. I actually think we might have some floor images from previous. Yeah, here, hold on. I'm just gonna try a miscellaneous texture and see how it looks. So here's an image, for example. Finish. I rotate it. Let's go 90 degrees. Okay, walls around the room. Color. I'll just pick an off-white just to see what it does. Add baseboards. That's a perk. Height. 4 inches. Color. White. Now what happens? Moment of truth. Okay, So it only worked on this wall, and that makes me wonder if that's just because they're not touching. Like I'm gonna make this overlap the walls. What's making me pick the walls again? Okay, so it has to be overlapping in the wall, but it's kind of doing this weird clipping thing. Oh, interesting. And it did this whole wall here. I wonder if that's because these ones aren't touching the wall. So strange.
I gotta be real. I could not figure out how to make the room finishes feature work properly. But if someone knows what I'm doing wrong, again, please let me know, because if I could figure this out and we can perfect its functionality, this would literally be one of the best finish applicators in theory.
Bathroom floor. You want tiles. Mosaic, I wonder? Do they have mosaic? They're all wall tiles though. But we can put them on the floor, right? I like the green one. For the walls, I'm just gonna let's do it green so that we see what it does to the colors. Okay. I don't know why it clips in the wall like that. There might be something that I'm missing in regards to this. Am I using this tool wrong? I mean, it's not bad. Oh, see, and the baseboard from the bathroom came into the rest of the house, but then the paint from the rest of the house went into the bathroom. And I don't really know how this builder divides things. I thought that I was creating the division by setting up these room constraints, but it's clearly going beyond that. So I don't really know. It's not very intuitive to figure it out, so I'm just gonna leave it.
It was super amazing to see that you could customize all of the finishes on the doors and windows in quite a lot of detail though. Like I'm talking about things like frames, hardware, a bunch of options. Placing the doors and windows was another thing.
Okay, how do I place it? Oh, it just free floats. Okay, hold on. I need to lock everything because it's too easy to grab and drag things. And this would be in the center. So it worked. It kind of just like cut a hole in the wall. So they don't even really have like sliding patio doors. We'll do just like this one, I guess. Okay, now the windows. Elevation, 3 feet. And then I think they're 2 feet high. Are these ones here? To be honest, I'm not trying to get it super exact anymore because I've sort of embraced that it's not gonna be that precise. You select 2 objects and move them together. Oh, you can. You can't rotate multiple at once. So you can only rotate one at a time. I hate how far away we have to do this and that we can't zoom in anymore. Okay, so this will go here. This one keeps on not cutting through the wall though. And I wonder if it has to do with the wall finish flipping through and making it look solid. Oh, I have to bring it back more. Okay, there's a feature here called magnetism. Disable magnetism, or oh, there it is. The magnetism locks everything so that it's but this wasn't working for walls. Does it work for rooms? Not really. So it kind of seems like the magnetism's more for components. Okay, now I feel better about how everything's sitting in the wall. I thought I had magnetism toggled, but I guess not. I'm trying to see how this looks. Okay, so I think that's it for doors and windows, and now we're just trying to place the interior components. So we have a few things, like this is way more detailed out in my software than we're going to be able to do in the other softwares. Like I have handrails, we even got the bulkheads, all the drawers in the kitchen, all this stuff. It's pretty much all fleshed out. So I'll do my best to kind of just place this as much the same as I can, but based off of the component library here, I'm not holding my breath.
So I know I'm only using the free version of this software, but the objects and library selection was so slim.
Okay, so let's do the bathroom first. And I'm just gonna search toilet. We'll see the options that we got. We got 3 options.
It was kind of made up for the fact that you could customize pretty much everything about each object, size, finishes, colors. But from an interior design perspective, those aspects can only get you so far. And at some point, the shape does matter more. That being said, again, this is just another limitation of the version of Sweet Home 3D that I was using, and I would like to do a more in-depth deep dive with a more expensive library.
Stairs. I'm kind of scared though. Yeah, so this is kind of like floorplanner.com where they're kind of just like pre-made geometry. Staircase steep, staircase open stringer. How much can you edit them? Oh, here, we can change the height. Yeah, you can't change the number of stairs or anything. You can only just change the portions of it, basically. They're so stubby. So these go about here. Stairs are hard. Stairs are hands down the most frustrating thing for me to model in 3D in my software, which is actually like meant for stairs. So, okay, so the last thing we have to do here for this builder, we're gonna try and do this kitchen. The kitchen that we're basing it off of, this kitchen is incredibly custom. So I'm not really holding my breath that we're gonna be able to do anything remotely similar. Okay, let's find out about cabinets now.
If you watched the floorplanner.com review, you saw me emphasize with great importance how much I feel like cabinet customization can make or break a good free planner. Now, like the objects, the cabinet selection was also sparse.
This is it.
But the finishes and sizes were totally customizable, and that made me way happier to see than what I have seen in other planners previously.
We were gonna do a yellow cabinet color for this kitchen. So let me just pick one that we like. I'm noticing it seems like a good rule of thumb is to go a little bit more muted than you think you do. Can I select multiple? Ooh, I can. Sick. Okay.
The cabinet styles themselves were a bit too modern for what I wanted to place in the specific design that we were doing, but you'll see in the comparison to floorplanner.com, the final kitchen configuration in Sweet Home 3D is still much closer and more accurate to what we had originally designed in Revit, and it's also easier to use. It's a little bit more intuitive to place things, but it did come with its quirks.
Look at this. Hold on. Why is this a height difference? Even though I changed both, look at that. They're still not the same. I don't know why it's doing that.
The countertops weren't flush, although the heights of the cabinets noted in the program were supposed to be the exact same. I had to adjust the cabinet heights kind of down to the millimeter to achieve the flush looking condition that I was looking for.
Actually, this looks way more flush. Trying to navigate in this is like not the easiest. I think I'm gonna say it's good enough. Do we have a dishwasher cabinet? Maybe I'll do one like this. I think some of the doors are kind of mismatched.
Despite the limited cabinet library, cabinet styles also didn't seem to match. I had mismatched hardware and mismatched door fronts. But all in all, I will say, despite its grievances, the cabinet customization in Sweet Home 3D did the job, and I think it was much better at conveying design intent for the kitchen, which made me very happy to see.
Oh, we also need a countertop burner, like one of these guys, but they only have a small one. Okay, here, snap and snap. I'll turn off the wood surround. I don't want this. Oh, see, and you can't pick the faucet either, so it's gonna be this ugly one. I mean, this is probably close enough. So we can't do a surround for this. I'm gonna try and see if we can like take one like this maybe and like interlay them like this. I think I'm gonna call it here for this though. I think we got a pretty good idea. Like, hey, you know, for how janky and old this planner seems to be, I will say it does seem to be a little bit more custom. There's some weird quirks. Like, I don't know why my baseboard continued into this wall. This depicts, I think, close enough to what we're trying to do. So I'm down to rate it. Okay. I'm also gonna give the accessibility of Sweet Home 3D a 3. I am more impressed with this one for, okay, learning curve. I'm actually gonna say that it's a 4. I feel like this one made a lot more sense really fast. The only thing about it is like, it's almost, I don't know how to lock geometry either. Like, it's almost too easy to move things around. It's too malleable. Customization though, I'm trying to decide if I want to give it a 3 or a 4, because if you pay for it, actually, okay, wait, accessibility, I'm gonna change it down to a 2 then. Wait, let's make accessibility worse, because if you want more customization and a bigger library, you gotta pay for it. And you can't do a second story. Wait, accessibility was 2, customization will make 3. Because I like that you can actually change the size and proportions of all of the geometry, and you can change the colors of things. That's great. Can you even change the color? Like, could I change the color of this sofa? Yeah, you can modify the fabric on the sofa and stuff. Like, this is sick. You can't do that in the other floor planner. Could maybe be a 4 if you did the paid version. Accuracy for this, I'm giving it a 1. Sweet Home 3D is definitely a schematic planner, first and foremost, in my opinion. Nothing about it really holds you to any construction standards or industry standards. All of the countertops were different heights for some reason. I'm even looking to, like, I know there's a dimension tool, but I think the dimension tool only works in 2D in plan view. I can't measure the heights of these. There's no way to look at it in elevation. Yeah, accuracy is a 1. Design to construction workflow, I'm also doing this as a 1. I would not want to use this to do a real project off of. I don't think you should do a real project with this. Again, I think it's a schematic floor planner through and through. I think it's great if you're just trying to like visualize things and throw stuff together. It is not good for building anything off of. There isn't enough embedded default information that makes me trust it. There we go. Yeah, it's vibe-based. It is vibe-based. Yeah, you're just going for like a feel. But this was more fun than the other one too. You can kind of just throw stuff down without thinking about it. It was better for that.
So that's it. That's all. That's my assessment of Sweet Home 3D. I recommend you give it a shot if it's something that you're interested in. It's super fun. If these kind of planner reviews are something that you're interested in, I have a few more coming. I also do home tour reviews, real design to build games, a bunch of things. Like and subscribe to my channel. I live stream the creation of these videos both on YouTube and Twitch, so you could give me a follow there if that's something you're interested as well. But that's it. That's all. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you and have a good rest of your day. Bye.